forest management is weeding. Management can help make forests grow more quickly. The goal is to remove the less vigorous, less healthy trees to promote the growth and success of the healthier, more vigorous trees, making a forest of big trees, which people love, happen faster. So forest management is as much about growing trees as it is about cutting trees. If you want a lovely garden, you have to weed it, and if you want a lovely forest, you have to weed it. The forest we're standing in now was completely cleared land in the mid-1800s, and this forest here has grown back from a very different forest that had been cut down for agriculture. It's hard to know what a forest that hasn't been affected by human beings would be. The act of storing, which is removing carbon from the atmosphere through photosynthesis, happens more vigorously in a more vigorous forest, which is often a forest that has been managed. Burning wood is part of the current carbon cycle. It's atmospheric carbon that has been turned into wood by photosynthesis, burned and released back to the atmosphere to be absorbed by trees and turned back into cellulose. It's the fossil carbon that is destroying the planet. In the fireplaces of old and even the wood stoves of not that long ago, burning wood was not particularly clean or efficient. But modern wood heat has greatly reduced the emissions, particularly particulate emissions from wood stoves, by 90-ish%, and they're much more efficient at utilizing all the energy in the wood. Again, close to 90% efficiency in producing thermal energy. Well, it's not quite that simple, because production of solar panels involves an awful lot of greenhouse gas production processes. So while they do produce a lot of energy, they're very inefficient. The way they are now, an awful lot of land has to get cleared to make not very much energy. And wind, where they're sited on mountain ranges, one of the biggest impacts is the road that has to be built through an otherwise untraversed hillside to get these giant turbines up to where they've got to go. And then these roads have to be maintained to service the turbines. So they aren't without their own impacts. Where they are is pretty much permanently altered from the condition that it had previously been. And if it had previously been a forest, it's probably not gonna be a forest again. The fossil carbon that is the result of producing heat, and that we're primarily around here burning oil and in some areas natural gas, but we could be burning wood residues, and as a result helping weed the stands, making the stands grow more productively and increasing the incentive for private forest landowners like us to keep our land in forest. And a good way to grow forests that are sequestering a lot of carbon because they're growing fast and productively, and they're growing products that will continue to sequester carbon in high-value products that are long-lived. Well, right now, only 12% of the energy that we're using comes from renewables. So the other 88% comes from burning fossil fuel, primarily, a small amount from biomass plants that are currently producing energy, but the majority of it is from fossil fuels. So we're a long way from being able to replace all that energy through solar and wind. So is it better to keep digging more fossil fuel out of the ground and burning it, or to efficiently burn wood, which can be grown back and the carbon cycle is maintained as opposed to being thrown out of balance the way it is with burning fossil fuel.